And Dante laughed aloud at this and he sarcastically shook his head. He said, you can visit hell as my guest tonight, or you can wait until you're dead. Truth be told, I didn't like either option, especially option 2, but I guess with life you've got to man up before death dictates its fate for you. And Dante outstretched his skinny weathered hand. It looked so frail and old, and a moment I clasped my hand on it. Its touch felt deathly cold. The floor beneath me feet started to rumble and the ground began to crack. I got this elder sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, and then everything went black. The next thing I knew, I was in a free-falling mode, but it felt more like I was flying, and I knew that hell awaited me. Plus I was scared to death of dying. I felt for what felt like an eternity, but it took merely a second of time, and below me I could see the gates of hell, and outside stood a massive waiting line, a snaking procession of lost souls that stretched on forevermore. The hopelessness and pain, desperation, well, it chilled me to the core. But that's when I felt hell's heat haze hit me, and its kiss, it burned the skin. And Dante led me to the front of the queue, and some hellish demon let us in. And hell really is a hell of a place. I've never seen a place so vast. Horrors upon horrors greeted me, and I stood there in silent reverence aghast. Dante said, don't be frightened, Paul, for you've nothing to fear. No creature or foul spawn will harm you as long as I am near. Well, I had to put me trust in him the way a trusting soul tends to do. And where Dante went, I followed, man. I fucking stuck to him like glue. He led me around the first ring of hell, full of sadness and despair. Lost souls begging for forgiveness, but receiving no forgiveness there. Their tortured cries were deafening, truly the chorus of the damned. And Dante said, hell is hell for a reason, for those who have broken God's commands. Was Dante warning me or mocking me? I honestly couldn't tell, as he led me further downwards into the second ring of hell. It was like somebody turned the heat up. I could barely catch me breath. Dante said, don't worry, Paul, but I was literally scared to death. And the second ring of hell was a hell of a lot worse than the ring that went before. Twisted, contorted bodies writhed in agony like snakes upon the floor, merging into one another's bodies in a grotesque orgy of the skin. And grabbing hands, they started grabbing at me body, and he tried to pull me in. Dante said, do not pity the wretched. These lost souls, they are unclean. But here I witnessed the worst perversions that I had ever seen. In the ring of the sins of the flesh, bodies were flailed down to the bone. I'd seen enough of hell already. I said, hey, Dante, take me home. But Dante was in his element now, acting as my soulless guide. And his vision of hell was shockingly hellish, and he looked upon it with pride. The third ring was like a giant minting machine, a bloody abattoir, a conveyor belt that ferried in the misery of lost souls in endless cattle carts, bodies torn apart and ground down into mud to feed the devil's spawn. Dante said, nobody will miss them, and their passing won't be mourned. And this is the ring of hell, where the devil himself likes to come and feed upon lost souls who have perished and died of gluttony and greed. But to me it looked less than appetizing. Truth be told, it nearly knocked me sick. I was on the verge of spewing my own ring up. I got out of there real quick. I'd had more than enough of this hellish torture. I couldn't take much more, but Dante said, Paul, the best and the worst is yet to come. And he unlocked another door. Deeper down dark corridors, he led me into the very bowels of hell. I asked Dante if I was still dreaming, because I couldn't really tell. And Dante said, hell is what you make of it, and hell really is a hellish thing. As he led me further downwards into another hellish ring. But this ring, it wasn't like them others. This ring, it chilled me to the bone. It was empty as hell, and it was icy cold, and I've never felt so alone. Dante said, this is the ring for those who fear nothing, for nothing is a thing to fear, when the solitary sound of silence becomes to the ears. And Dante looked me in the eyes. He could tell that I was scared. He said, You've got nothing to fear, Paul, for I've given my word. I just wanted to wake back up, fast asleep in bed, because this nightmare vision I was witnessing still only in my head. But Dante took me further downwards and I didn't want to go. And one big door lay before me and what lay behind it, I didn't know. It said, abandon all hope who enter here. And my heart had began to sink. But Dante turned and key in the door before I had time to think. And inside this ring sat the devil himself on a massive burning throne. I tried hiding behind Dante, but he was barely skin and bone. And inside this ring sat the devil himself on a massive burning throne. I tried hiding behind Dante, but I was only skin and bone. And the devil rose from his great seat, and he welcomed me with outstretched arms. Now I know the devil speaks with a full tongue, so I tried to be impervious to his charms. He offered me heaven upon earth if I signed away my eternal soul. This was a hell of a situation to be stuck in without digging myself deeper into a hole. But I've also heard it said that the devil's well known for telling the odd falsehood or two, so I politely declined the devil's kind offer. This seemed to be the wisest thing to do. On hearing this, the devil just laughed out loud and Dante shook his head. The next thing I remember was waking up fast asleep in bed. But last night I remembered that hell really is a hell of a place, if only in the hell of a dream. But those nightmare visions that I witnessed there, they can never be unseen. But truth be told, I didn't think much of Dante or his vision of hell. But I guess hell really is what you make of it, or as far as I can tell. All I know for certain is the future is not written, and what will be, will be. So for now, the devil, he can kiss me ass, because my soul, it still belongs to me. Thank you. Hey!